Hello and welcome to pdfsupply.com. Today we're going to be testing an IC698CRE040. This is an RX7i redundant processor. And for this test, I'm going to be using an IC698CHS017 17-slot rack and an IC698 PSA100 power supply. Now, if this is a processor that I'm checking over to see if it works properly, first thing that I would do before installing it into the rack is to take a close examination of the circuit board, both front and back. If it's a processor that's potentially troubled, I'm going to look for traces that are burnt or small tiny chips or resistors that have been bumped off when placing the processor in and out of the rack. Obvious things that would create a fault or a problem with the processor. And then secondly, I would take a close look at all the pins that connect to the chassis on the back of the processor. There's two sets of pins, and you're going to want to look for any bent pins or pins that have been pushed in, which are not going to make proper connectivity. So if I've taken a good physical examination and the processor looks fine, next thing I do is put it in my rack and power it up, and I allow the processor to go through its self-diagnostic. At the end of the self-diagnostic, you should have a CPU OK light, and that generally means that the processor is in good working condition, good working health. So if it is in good working condition, or at least it's reported that way, I'm going to want to go to my Prophecy Machine Edition software. And I'm going to want to connect up to the processor. Once I'm connected, I'm going to want to go into program mode, and then I'll do a little bit of research about the part. I'm going to go to Target on the top menu bar, drop down to Diagnostics. Now, if it's a processor that doesn't have any current instructions, there's always going to be some faults, especially if you put it into a new blank file, or the processor's been powered down and it doesn't have a program in it. There's always going to be something in there. What you're really looking for is a major fault that would hold it up from going into run mode or from running. And you want to look in the I/O and the controller fault table. So if I don't see any significant faults, the next thing I do is go to Target again, top menu bar, Online Commands, Clear. And I'm going to clear only the bottom two selections, controller and I/O fault tables. Hit OK. And then download and start active target. I'll let it go through its download process. Now, when it's done with the download process, it gives me the opportunity to check the I/O enabled switch, the actual physical switch on the processor, to make sure that everything's working properly with that. This is why when I first start testing it, I'm going to have it in stop mode. This is stop with outputs disabled. Second position would be run with outputs disabled. That would be the second light. And the third position is run with I/O enabled, and that's going to be the third light. I'm downloading only hardware configuration and logic, top two selections. Okay. Once the Prophecy Machine Edition allows me to put the processor into run mode, is the time that I can check the switch. Second position, a run with outputs disabled, and third position, run with outputs enabled. I have all three lights on. So if I get to this stage, then I feel that the processor is in good working condition. If you've removed the processor to test it and you find that you're in the same position as this, where the processor looks to be in good working condition, and you still have a problem, it's likely that your problem exists elsewhere, possibly in the rack. However, if you can't get this far, or if you can't get a CPU OK light on, then this is something that we repair and or keep in stock. If you need a replacement or a repair, you can reach us at 1-800-360-6802, or find us online at www.pdfsupply.com. Thank you.